I ain't really give a about it, cause that's just what do. Drop diss songs and shit.
Yeah.
When there is concern that this could lead to even more violence, more shootings in Jacksonville. That's because that is where this rapper was from, and he did have a long-standing history.
It was supposed to be a night of celebration, the kind of milestone moment where the chaos of life took a backseat to joy and laughter. But what began as a triumphant birthday weekend for Jacksonville rapper Julio Foolio descended into a horrifying scene of violence, leaving the rap world shaken and the streets of Jacksonville buzzing with whispers of revenge. The Florida summer air was thick and sweltering on that fateful night, the kind of heat that clings to your skin, refusing to let go. Julio Foolio, just 26 years old, sat in the driver's seat of a black vehicle parked in the lot of a Holiday Inn mere hours after performing at a local club. With him were a few close friends, their voices echoing in bursts of laughter and conversation, utterly unaware that this would be the last moment of normalcy they'd ever share.
So when I dropped my I guess people felt like I was wrong, but I'm like, how I'm wrong, bro? I'm just defending myself and my brothers and my dead brothers and my team, you know what I'm saying?
The parking lot was eerily quiet, save for the low hum of streetlights and the occasional shuffle of hotel guests. But lurking just out of sight were three masked figures, their movements deliberate and their intentions chilling. The surveillance footage would later reveal how the suspects, dressed head to toe in black, had tracked Foolio's movements from a nightclub to the hotel. They didn't rush, they didn't panic. They moved like predators, circling their prey, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And strike they did. In under 20 seconds, the stillness of the night was shattered by a deafening barrage of gunfire. Over 40 rounds unleashed in a storm of destruction. Glass shattered, metal crumbled, and screams pierced the air. By the time the echoes of violence faded, Julio Foolio lay motionless in the driver's seat, his once vibrant life extinguished. His friends, though injured, survived the attack, left to grapple with the trauma of what they had just witnessed.
Picking up like my views, my following, and everything.
The precision of the assault was undeniable. This was no random act of violence. This was an ambush, a calculated execution that bore all the hallmarks of a gang-related hit. Investigators wasted no time in connecting the dots, pointing to the years-long feud between rival Jacksonville gangs KTA and ATK, a rivalry that had already claimed dozens of lives. Julio, a prominent figure in KTA, had been a lightning rod for controversy in this bloody saga, with his music often serving as both a cathartic outlet and a provocation to his enemies. But even in a world where gang beefs and diss tracks are tragically common, this attack felt different. It was brazen, it was merciless, and it was deeply personal.
What is this? Something about Jacksonville, Florida, my own hometown, they just hate me, bro. I don't know why. I can't tell you why. I don't know why.
As the dust settled and the news spread, Florida prosecutors came forward with a stunning announcement. They were seeking the capital punishment for 3 of the suspects involved in Foolio's homicide. The decision signaled a bold move to crack down on gang violence in the state, and the details they unveiled about the case were nothing short of staggering. Through a meticulous investigation involving surveillance footage, cell phone data, and digital breadcrumbs, authorities pieced together the events leading up to the assassination. The suspects had allegedly followed Foolio from one location to another, coordinating their attack with chilling efficiency. And then there was the bottle of julio, an apparent mockery of Foolio's legacy, captured in a photo on one suspect's phone just hours after the assassination. Whether it was a trophy or a taunt, the intent was clear. This was a message.
I don't know him. I never seen him before in my life.
In person?
Never seen him before.
Okay.
State Attorney Susie Lopez did not mince words when addressing the case. In Florida, if you help plan an assassination, you're just as guilty as the one who pulled the trigger, she declared, her tone resolute. The message was unmistakable. The state would not tolerate the kind of brazen violence that had turned the streets into battlefields. But even as prosecutors pushed forward with their case, a darker, more tantalizing narrative began to emerge. Whispers of a bigger conspiracy started circulating, and all eyes turned to one name: Yungeen Ace. For years, Foolio and Yungeen Ace had been locked in a bitter feud, their rivalry spilling out into diss tracks, social media taunts, and tragically, real-life violence. But now, a bombshell allegation threatened to take the story to an entirely new level. A masked man, his face obscured but his voice dripping with bravado, had surfaced in a viral video, claiming that Yungeen Ace had placed a bounty on Foolio's head, a sum of $10,000 for anyone willing to pull the trigger. "I'm the one who smacked Foolio that night," the man boasted in the grainy clip. "Ace put that 10K up, told me to handle it. Foolio had it coming."
Okay, and when he said that he thinks that the beef will end sooner than later, it sounds like he wants to figure out a way to squash it.
The video ignited a firestorm of speculation. Could Yungeen's Ace, a rapper who had built his career on diss tracks and gritty tales of survival, have orchestrated the assassination of his most notorious rival? Fans and investigators alike pored over the details, dissecting every word, every gesture, every Instagram post for clues. Ace's behavior in the wake of Foolio's demise only added fuel to the fire. Within days of the assassination, he dropped new tracks that many interpreted as veiled taunts, his lyrics dripping with the kind of bravado that seemed almost too coincidental to ignore. His Instagram posts, too, carried an unsettling edge. Cryptic captions and photos that many saw as thinly veiled jabs at Foolio's demise.
He got what he wanted. Like, he got the fans. Like, you know what I'm saying? He got it. He went up, so now he got what he wanted. So now it's like.
But was this mere bravado, the kind of posturing that has become all too common in the world of rap feuds? Or was it something more sinister? The masked man's claims remained unverified, and Yungeen Ace himself had yet to address the allegations directly. Still, the timing was impossible to ignore. As Foolio's family mourned his loss and prosecutors built their case, the specter of Ace's alleged involvement loomed large. The rivalry between Foolio and Ace had always been more than just music. It was a proxy war between two factions, each with its own loyalists, its own code of honor, and its own blood-soaked history. Their diss tracks weren't just songs, they were battle cries, each lyric a bullet aimed at their enemies. And yet, even in a world where violence and retaliation were tragically normalized, the idea of a rapper placing a bounty on another's life was almost too shocking to comprehend.
At the end of the day, I feel like the losses outweigh the wins for everyone involved, because you can never bring...
Because you can't never beat the streets.
As the investigation continued, new details began to trickle out, each one more chilling than the last. Surveillance footage from the night of the assassination showed two vehicles trailing Foolio's car as he left a nightclub, their movements synchronized in a way that suggested careful planning. Witnesses reported seeing masked figures lurking near the Holiday Inn hours before the shooting, their presence almost ghost-like in its silence. And then there was the eerie coincidence of Foolio's own lyrics, in which he often referred to himself as a demigod, someone who couldn't be touched, couldn't be brought down. In one of his final Instagram posts, he'd written, "I'll never I am a demigod," a statement that now felt both tragically ironic and hauntingly prophetic. The streets of Jacksonville were alive with whispers, each rumor more sensational than the last. Some speculated that the hit on Foolio was just the beginning, that a wave of retaliation was inevitable. Others wondered if the entire saga was part of a larger conspiracy, a shadowy game being played at the highest levels of the rap world. And through it all, one question hung heavy in the air. If Yungeen Ace truly had nothing to do with Foolio's demise, why hadn't he come forward to clear his name? Was his silence a calculated move, or was it the silence of someone with something to hide?
Like, me and him was always mutual. Like, it wasn't no f you, and it wasn't like we cool, like we was mutual.
As we dig deeper into this tangled web of violence, betrayal, and ambition, one thing is clear. The story of Julio Foolio's demise is far from over. The truth, whatever it may be, lies buried beneath layers of secrecy and speculation. And as prosecutors push for the ultimate punishment, one name continues to surface, whispered in hushed tones and shouted in online forums: Yungeen Ace. Could the man who rose to fame on the back of diss tracks and street cred have orchestrated the ultimate act of vengeance? Or is this just another chapter in a saga that has already claimed too many lives? The answers remain elusive, but one thing is certain: this story is only just beginning.
That you've made lately, man, was your recent shootout you've been in.
Yeah.
I posted it on my Instagram and everybody went crazy for it.
And then, just when we thought the case couldn't get any more chaotic, Rashad Murphy stepped into the courtroom and dropped a bombshell that left everyone, from the prosecutors to the spectators, in stunned silence. He fired his legal team. That's right, in a case where his very life hangs in the balance with the capital punishment on the table, Murphy decided to represent himself. Now, we've seen bold moves in high-profile trials before, but this felt like an act of desperation. Or maybe, just maybe, a calculated risk. Was it arrogance, fear, or a last-ditch effort to control the narrative? Whatever the reason, Murphy's decision has thrown his trial into uncharted territory, and the stakes couldn't be higher.
You know, one of the biggest reactions that I've seen is a lot of people thought you were lying.
Yeah.
What's your reaction to that?
The evidence against him is overwhelming. Surveillance footage allegedly places him near the scene of the attack. His phone's GPS data lines up with the suspect's movements, and prosecutors claim they have witnesses ready to testify about his role as one of the shooters. But by choosing to go it alone, Murphy is gambling with more than his freedom. He's gambling with his life. A courtroom without a seasoned defense attorney is a minefield, and with every misstep, he risks sealing his fate. Yet, there's an air of unpredictability surrounding this decision. Could his choice to represent himself mean he has something explosive to reveal? Could Murphy's trial turn into a spectacle that exposes secrets far beyond his own involvement? For now, the questions hang like storm clouds, and all eyes are locked on what promises to be a courtroom drama for the ages. But Rashad Murphy isn't the only suspect whose case is raising eyebrows. Enter Alicia Andrews, a name that's been whispered about in hushed tones ever since her arrest. Unlike Murphy, whose courtroom antics have been front and center, Andrews' story has unfolded more quietly, but it's no less captivating. At the time of her arrest, Andrews was reportedly pregnant, a detail that adds a deeply personal and complicated layer to her involvement. On the one hand, some have painted her as a pawn, a young woman caught in the gravitational pull of a dangerous world. On the other, the evidence against her paints a much darker picture. Surveillance footage allegedly shows her acting as the lookout on the night of the attack, and text messages suggest she was relaying Foolio's every move to the rest of the group. Was she coerced? Was she a willing participant? Or is the truth buried somewhere in between?
Today in Tampa, 4 suspects accused in the shooting of Jacksonville rapper Charles Jones, known by his stage name Foolio, faced a judge in court.
But Andrews' story takes an even darker turn when we consider her alleged connection to Jacksonville's underground network of informants and enforcers. Court documents indicate that her phone records not only tracked Foolio's movements that night, but also contained messages to unnamed contacts believed to be affiliated with ATK's inner circle. These contacts, investigators claim, may have helped coordinate the ambush, providing crucial intel about Foolio's whereabouts in exchange for favors or loyalty. The question remains, was Andrews simply following orders, or was she a key player in a larger chess game, trading information while staying in the shadows?
Sean Gathright, Alicia Andrew, Isaiah Chance, and Rashad Murphy have all entered not guilty pleas to charges of first-degree and conspiracy to commit.
Adding to the intrigue is the timing of Andrews' arrest. Just weeks before she was taken into custody, she posted cryptic messages on social media that seemed to hint at guilt, remorse, or perhaps even fear of retribution. Fans and followers noticed sudden changes in her behavior, including deleting old photos and distancing herself from known associates. Was she trying to cover her tracks, or did she sense that the law or something worse was closing in? Andrews' case is as much a psychological puzzle as it is a legal one, and it's a reminder that in this feud, even those on the periphery aren't safe from the fallout. If that weren't intriguing enough, rumors of internal conflict have only added fuel to the fire. According to court documents, Andrews' lawyer abruptly withdrew from her case, a move that has left many wondering if there's more going on behind the scenes. Is Andrews considering cooperating with prosecutors? Could she be the key to unraveling the entire conspiracy? Or is she simply another player in a game that's spiraling out of control? Whatever the truth, one thing is clear, Andrews' case is a wild card, and her next move could change everything.
New details revealed today in a pretrial hearing for the case the state of Florida is building against the people accused of Jacksonville rapper Foolio.
As the trials inch closer, the tension is palpable. But to truly understand the weight of this case, we have to step back and look at the bigger picture. The feud between KTA and ATK, a conflict that has turned Jacksonville into a battlefield. Foolio's demise wasn't just a random act of violence, it was the latest chapter in a story that's been unfolding for years. This is a feud rooted in loss, revenge, and a twisted sense of honor. And Foolio? He lived at the very heart of it. His music was his weapon, his platform, and his shield. From diss tracks that mocked his rivals to social media posts that taunted his enemies, Foolio didn't just embrace the chaos, he thrived in it. And yet, that same defiance made him a target. He survived multiple attempts on his life, each one more brazen than the last. But in the end, the streets he rapped about claimed him. And let's not forget the masked man's viral confession, a claim that yungeen himself put a bounty on Foolio's head. True or not, the mere suggestion has added another layer of complexity to an already convoluted case. Online forums are ablaze with speculation, fans dissecting every lyric, every post, every move Ace has made since Foolio's demise. His diss tracks, his Instagram captions, the eerie timing of his music releases. Is it all just coincidence, or is there a deeper meaning hiding in plain sight? Ace has denied involvement in Foolio's assassination, but his silence on the masked man's allegations has only fueled the rumors. Could this feud be more than just street politics? Could it be a carefully orchestrated game, with players pulling strings from behind the scenes?
So far, no suspects have been named in this, and Tampa police are asking for more information from anyone that has it about this shooting.
As we peel back the layers of this story, one thing becomes increasingly clear. This isn't just about Foolio. It's about a culture of violence that has claimed too many lives and a justice system racing to keep up. It's about a city grappling with the fallout of a feud that shows no signs of slowing down. And it's about the chilling possibility that Foolio's demise wasn't just another tragedy, it was a message.
But a Jacksonville crime analyst believes that the shooter at large could be from a rival group in Jacksonville, where Julio Foolio is from.
So where does this leave us? With Rashad Murphy preparing to go head-to-head with seasoned prosecutors, Alicia Andrews' case shrouded in mystery, and yungeen Ace's name hanging over it all like a dark cloud, the stage is set for one of the most explosive trials we've ever seen. But the real question is, will we ever know the full truth? Was Foolio's assassination the result of gang politics alone, or was it part of a larger plan masterminded by someone higher up the ladder? And if Ace was involved, will the evidence ever come to light, or will this feud continue to claim lives in the shadows of Jacksonville's streets? Let us know what you think in the comments. Do you believe this case will finally bring justice, or is it just the beginning of an even darker chapter? Stay tuned, because this story is far from over. Until next time, take care, stay curious, and remember, in this world, nothing is ever as it seems.